it's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior Live. I'll be your host today. Please put in the chat where you're from and who you are. When we start reviewing the news articles, if you want to look at our Facebook page, just click here and you can follow the articles along as we go. See you in a moment. Good morning, afternoon, wherever you are. It's Ron Brown. I'll be your host today. This is Tech for Senior Live, and it is April the 20th. I want to welcome everybody. If you are out there listening on our Facebook or YouTube feed, thank you for coming. If you are watching this as a YouTube short, please just click the link and it'll take you right to the show. If you're watching this in part of our Zoom feed for our Monday show, well, you're not watching it because there's nobody there. You're in the wrong place, right? Don't go there. What you need to do is you need to come on over to www.techforsenior.com. Hit the big red button, and it'll take you to the show. It'll either take you to the Facebook feed or our YouTube feed. So we're not, this isn't a Zoom meeting. We always get people logging in on Thursday trying to go to our Zoom meeting, but it's not. This is broadcast through StreamYard, going out to Facebook and YouTube. So anyway, welcome everyone. We have a big show for you today. Lots of interesting news. We of course, you're probably wondering who we are, but we also would like to know who you are, because it is a big world out there and we have people from all over the place listening to us. If you wouldn't mind putting your name in the chat and let us know what the weather is, who you are. And if you are new to the show, it would be great if you say, hey, this is my first time. Then I don't get embarrassed not knowing who you are, and then clapping and saying it's your first time and you're not. So give me a little help with that one. I know most of you, but I don't know everyone. So please put your name in there, particularly if you're new. We will get on to the introductions, and I'll introduce everyone today in a moment. But I want to just let everyone know that where we come from. Well, we have a Monday show called Tech for Senior. We are in our fourth year now. He and I started that 4 years ago with Bob, actually, as well. And we have been doing this for 4 years now. So we're pretty proud of our Monday show. If you want to participate in it, you can certainly find that. All the information, again, is on our website at www.techforsenior.com. Please come by and participate in a show. I get lots of email and people wanting to know this, that, and the other thing. I say, well, why don't you just come to the show and have some fun with us? So you're certainly welcome to do that. All the information is on that site. And also we have a newsletter that goes out twice a week. It's free. What do you get for free these days? There's free. We don't charge for it. There's no advertising. It's just us putting a lot of hard work into some great articles, and you can have that for free twice a week. Comes out on Tuesday and Saturday, and it really keeps us up to date with who it'll let you keep up to date with us, so you know what we're all about and what we're doing. So that's that again can be found at www.techforsenior.com. We of course record all these shows, and they're all on our YouTube channel, so you can certainly find that out on our YouTube channel, again through our website. Now let me introduce, today we're of course going to go over the news of the week, the tech news of the week. Many of you probably just saw the big rocket blast off, the Starlink rocket blast off to, and I guess it blew up. So it with a big bang, but hopefully our show will have a big bang in it too, won't it? Anyway, I want to introduce our crew today. We've actually assembled them all over the world. You might think we're all sitting in an office talking, but we're not. We are all over the place. And the farthest away would be, of course, Huey Poplick in Bradenton, Florida. So you are the farthest away. Can you hear me? Do I have to shout, Huey?
You do, but that's got nothing to do with distance.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So how you doing today? Are you okay down in Florida? Weather's okay?
Oh, it's 81, going to be 88 today. We need some rain on our coast. It all went down to Fort Lauderdale and Miami.
Oh, okay.
So our gas now jumped up because they couldn't get the gas off the ships, and everything was flooded down there. So we ended up gas went from around 340 something to 375 yesterday.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah, things here are great. I've been playing with this AI stuff, and I get more and more involved. And now I'm getting a bunch of emails every day of all this new stuff that's coming out. And gosh, it is time consuming trying to keep up with it.
The other thing you realize, of course, do you know what next Thursday is? Not only it's our next week's show, but what are we doing next Thursday?
Gosh, I don't know. Thursday? Oh, it's learning Chromebooks.
That's right. Another month has come by, so Huey and I do a show once a week or once a month called Learning Chromebooks. We talk about Chromebooks. We've been doing this, I think, maybe in our third year now. And again, you can find all the details on our website if you want to sign up for it. It's free. It's a 1-hour show all about Chromebooks, and we'll be doing that next Thursday. And from Los Lunas, New Mexico, our security expert, our expert in all, a real nice guy, Bob Gustisha.
I had to wait for the signal to come in. Oh, no, not anymore. Not anymore. That used to be that way.
There you go. You're in. We can see you.
Yep. It's cooler today than it's been. And Huey, I don't know. They have one excuse for you for the gas prices going up. I don't know what the excuse is over here, but ours is running the same dollar amount per gallon. So dig deeper.
Yep.
Or cut out taking your medicine or stop eating. But, life still has to go on.
Yeah, and I've been using the store brands of cola as opposed to the brand name. Coca-Cola now is like almost $9 a 12-pack.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
There you go. And the last but not least, we have Mr. Bill James from Oklahoma City. Now, Bill talks about gadgets in our newsletter, but he isn't a gadget guy. Well, he is a gadget guy, but he's a very smart guy because he talks about all aspects of technology. He's got a Mac, he's got Windows 10, Windows 11, Windows 12. He's got it all. He talks about all of it. He is so smart. That's why we have him on the show, so he can keep us honest. And Bill, with an introduction like that, do you have anything to say?
I'm embarrassed. Thanks, Ron.
There you go.
As I keep telling everyone, jack of all trades, master of none. But speaking of weather, we had a surprise. Well, for me it was, but probably not anyone else. They probably were anticipating. But we had a bunch of tornadoes here in town, and there was windy and lots of hail, and so it was a quite interesting evening.
Yes, hail would not be good.
I understand there was maybe a couple deaths from that storm last night. I haven't followed the news.
Right.
But
hail is especially not good if you're trying to grow some tomatoes.
Oh, yeah. It was,
or you park your car outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was everywhere from gumball size to probably golf ball size.
Yeah.
So.
Huey, do we have anybody listening to us? Are we just talking by ourselves here?
Yeah, we're just talking by ourselves today.
Is anyone actually out there listening to us? Chris Rosinski, my old buddy, Chromebook. Chris and I taught Chromebooks way back when at Silver Ridge in Mesa, Arizona. Chris and I were early adopters of Chromebook technology. Sunny and 84 here in Reidsville, North Carolina. Jolin is here. Jolin is greetings from Low Country, South Carolina. Jolin is a Chromebook advocate again and often helps us with our Chromebook show, which hopefully she can attend next Thursday. That'd be great. She's always helpful because we often have a lot of people there and we can't answer everyone's questions. So Jolin, welcome. Bernard DeFazio, Sterling Heights Computer Club, Detroit, Michigan. Bill on updated Chromebook, #1 from the office. Jeff, a good day in Long Beach, California. Sunny, 63 degrees. And Gerald Smith is from Seattle, 39 degrees, cloud and rain coming. Well, let me tell you, the rain's here. And the wind, there's wind warnings all up and down our coastline. So you might be getting a big blow later on today.
I hope Bill is the boss, or at least has a quick shut-off button if he's not.
Yeah. Bob says Bellevue, Washington, 43 degrees and only 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, that's cool. Mike Ungerman, and he just says sun because if you saw a picture of Mike, he's smiling and sitting by his car because of course he has solar panels on his house that's charging his EV car. So he just makes money when the sun's out, and in Florida that's often the case, right? Steve Powell, Kirkland, Washington, 41 degrees, cloudy. Sally, lots of rain and wind too. Yes, that's what we got here. Irving, sunny and 40 degrees in Ottawa.
And there we go.
There we go. So we should maybe get, let's talk about a few articles. Let's talk about a couple of things I want to bring up to everyone before we get going. This was an article that came out early in the week, and it said Alphabet loses $55 billion in market value after Samsung reportedly considered Google with Bing.
You're cutting out.
Yeah, you're cutting out, but the key word there is considers.
Yeah. I love it when people come up with rumors and it costs somebody a fortune. Amazing.
Well, they're also saying
it does.
There was another article here that I just found that was the Android Authority that says that Samsung can't replace Google with Microsoft's Bing as default search engine because of the Google Mobile Application Distribution Agreement, MADA. It says it requires all Android OEMs to pre-install Google Search and use it as a default.
All right. Well, this was on the this was on Tech News this week, and of course the shares tanked, and so there were a lot of people that were concerned about this. Now, I was talking to everybody, and I want to just think about something. Most people probably understand Google, but Google is an advertising company, and and they basically make their money with Chrome on a search because, of course, everybody pays money to have their searches all prioritized. Same as Google Maps. When you put all your stuff on, if you're a business and you have information on Google Maps, you're going to be you're paying Google. So that's how they make all their money, right? So this is a big deal. If all of a sudden people don't use Chrome and they use Bing, this affects Google in a big way. But what I wanted to say to you guys, what happens, our whole relationship with the internet is being in using a browser and searching, right? But suppose we don't do that after maybe we have Bing and ChatGPT do it, and they can find what we want without actually doing a Google search. Now, so are we going to have browsers in the future, or is this all going to change? I guess that's my point that I wanted to bring out today. What do you guys think? What do you think, Huey?
I think that once Google gets their act together and incorporates the
Bard.
AI in their
Yep.
search, I think you'll see people saying, "Well, yeah, Google is the answer."
And
Okay.
actually, Bard has gotten quite a bit better from what it originally was when it flubbed,
Mhm.
but it has gotten quite a bit better.
And they say it's going to be another month before it really becomes a part of the
Yep.
Google search.
So
No.
Bard will be part of the search engine then,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's I was kind of disappointed with Bard the other day. I asked it to do write an article for a membership drive, and I put the same wording in Bard as I did Chat GPT, and the Chat GPT did a much better job at rendering an answer than Bart did. They were totally different. I mean, totally different approaches, but I thought it was the way the Chat GPT wrote the article. It was a lot more touchy feely, and where the other one seemed like to be more mechanical. So that was interesting.
What I'd like to do is throw something out to our audience and have them put something in. Are they caught up in the AI thing as much as we are, the four of us? I'm not sure. Of course, a lot of them are kind of geeks like we are, so I'm not sure whether we would get a true picture. But I don't think, talking to some of my neighbors and so on, yeah, they've heard about it and they hear, 60 Minutes had a big show on it Sunday, and there's a few other things going on talking about it. But I don't think they realize what is actually happening. And I think most people don't. And then when a New York Times article comes out, all the other newspapers pounce on it, and it blows sometimes the story up. But I'm not sure whether the man on the street really understands and is realizing how much things are changing.
Most of the men on the street don't even know who the president is.
Right. But are you seeing some of these articles and shows sort of more doom and gloom than anything else? I was really a little bit taken back by the 60 Minutes piece. I thought it was kind of scary in a lot of respects, in my opinion. And then I read a couple others articles that they don't focus on the positive aspects; it's more the negative.
Right.
So I don't know. I think people are going to become more fearful of AI than they are
Embracing it.
embracing it. So that's kind
because they're playing up when you have someone who manipulates AI so it comes up with answers that might not be truthful or might be hurtful in a lot of ways. And that's the part that always gets played up. It's not the good parts of it and not the helpful parts, just as it is with news. A guy does a good deed, you'll never hear about it. A guy commits murder, it's all over front page. And that's basically the same with this new technology.
Well, there was the 60 Minutes article talked about the hallucinatory properties of AI, but I think people have to realize that it's not. It's going to make stuff up, but it's doing it in a kind of a human deal because we ourselves kind of make stuff up if we're the way we think.
As I've said many, many times, it's a tool. Use it as such. Do not allow it to be the final product.
And there was another article, I don't know if you saw that or not, is that Samsung was quite taken back when a couple of their employees checked their coding through Chat GPT. And so the company was pretty much bent out of shape because they thought it had, probably did release sensitive information into the wild because of the employees using Chat GPT to check their coding.
Yeah.
And so
That's
that
cool.
really made a big
Yeah.
splash. And so Samsung has kind of clamped down on the amount of data you can put into the engine before. So that's how they're controlling it. And of course, there's all the other chat about students using it to cheat on their papers and things like that. So there's a lot of negative things that are out.
But Bill, most of the people that I know that do reporting and do work and they're publishing articles, they're all using it. It's a tool that everybody uses now. I mean, there are negative things about it, but if you are in the business of writing articles and stuff like that, you will be using it because it's just that
Exactly.
good,
I totally agree with that.
so
Yeah.
it is there. Let me just move on. I want to move on because we
Before we do, Chris Krasinski put in that in the 60 Minute, the president of Google said we ought to hold back. But then, of course, if you're Google and you have Microsoft that's now taken pretty much over everything, of course you'd like things to be held back.
right.
Well,
But
not only-
once the genie is out of the bottle, you can't put it back
You
in.
can't put it back.
well,
Okay?
Wolenzak and Musk both wanted to put it on pause.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
So let me
Yeah.
switch on
But
now. We wanna move on
before
to the
you
next-
do, Ron, there are some comments.
Well, we
from
will.
our
Can we
audience.
do those in a minute? I just want to do
Okay,
the next
sure.
article.
Okay.
All right. The next article I want to go to is this was a new one that just came out. I think yesterday. This was Google Fi gets a slightly new name and new perks for subscribers, and Google Fi is now going to be rebranded as Google Fi Wireless. So the question is what is Google Fi, right? Now, so people need to know that Google actually has their own wireless phone service, right? And it's called Google Fi. Now, as usual, Google does a stupid job of naming it. Why wouldn't you call it Google's telephone company or something like that? But they called it Google Fi, which originally was called the Fi Project, right? And so now, finally, as we go through 15 years later, it's going to be called Google Fi Wireless. So that's the new terminology that's just come out. So now, what is Google Fi and why might you consider it? And I want to talk about a couple of things. In general, what all four of us have done, and we recommend this, is doesn't matter what phone plan you have now, you should always be reassessing it every 6 months because the rates change, the availability, all things change with these phone plans. So what is Google Fi? Well, Google Fi is, of course, runs on the back of T-Mobile. It's called an MNVO, and it contracts services to T-Mobile. So there has been two big advantages in using Google Fi. The first is being international travelers, because in over 200 countries around the world, when you go there, your SIM card, the card you have, your phone number just works in these 200 countries. And there's no limit on the amount of internet, and it's high-speed internet you can use. So it's been a very good feature for people traveling, and people who travel often will use use Google Fi. Now it's got a little more competitive now, and T-Mobile and Verizon have somewhat competitive plans, but if you are doing a lot of travel, in other words, our friends Geeks on Tour, Jim and Chris Gould, they use Google Fi all the time because they're traveling all the time. They use Google Fi, and it's great. The other unique advantage in Google Fi is if you're out there and you're a Canadian snowbird. I used Google Fi for 10 years. It is a hidden gem for Canadian snowbirds. Now, Google Fi is only available if you have a U.S. resident, but if you are a snowbird, then you would have a U.S. residence, and then you can bring it back and you can use it as your number in Canada. Cheap, it works well, and you can keep the same number going back and forth. So it's been a really, really good thing for snowbirds, and a good thing for people traveling. Now, with just within the province, within the country, in the United States, if you're not traveling and you're not a snowbird, then it may or may not be competitive for other plans. But to give you an example, they're offering, this is so if you come up now and you look up top here, you'll see Google Fi. It's called Google Fi Wireless, and you can try it for 7 days. And previously, Fi customers would have to pay extra for unlimited plus plans, but to get fully connected for compatible smartwatches, it is now compatible to those with unlimited plan and supports Pixel Watch and Samsung Watch 5. So one of the things it does now, it includes a watch plan with your. So if you have a watch and you don't want to pay for an extra SIM card in your watch, that's included in the Fi plan, and after 24 months, all Fi customers, regardless of plan, can get a free phone, and it goes on and on and on. So there's a number of features in there that all as I'm saying is it is something you should look at. It's another option if you're out. Just to let you know, if you're looking at Verizon, fine. Look at T-Mobile, fine. Look at Google Fi. Look at Consumer Cellular. Look at all those plans and decide what you want to do. But more specifically, it would be sort of what your travel plans are going to be, and I think you really need to look at that. And it's an option, but it's a big change. I think Google is really promoting Google Fi Wireless now, so you might want to have a look at that.
And not to be confused with Google Voice.
Correct. Google Voice is another plan. It's nothing to do with that. It has
And if you have Wi-Fi available, why not use it? Totally free.
Right. So do you guys? No, we talked earlier. I don't think anyone here uses Google Fi. Huey, are there any questions out there?
Yeah, well, there's quite a bit of here. Let's see if I can figure out where to start. Let's see. Start here.
George from Victoria. My signature block now includes no Chat GPT used.
Oh, no.
Mike says, once I tried AI, I'm all in. My relatives who are less computer savvy are into it. When I show them how to ask AI the same question, they usually ask me. So I have to tell everybody, in our Saturday newsletter, I forgot to put half of Bob's article in. So as an apology, I wrote Bob a poem, and I apologized to Bob, and I got Chat GPT to write the poem. So you see, it does smooth over feathers at times, right?
Feathers were never ruffled, though.
So Sally says, I'm using Chat GPT to help with computer classes I teach. Yeah, it's great. Jolyn says, our Hilton Head Island Computer Club is doing presentations on to our memberships. I follow things somewhat and have OpenAI Playground and Bard pinned as tabs in my Chrome browser. Jolyn says, I have also started using Microsoft Designer quite a bit. Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about, Bob, you talked about that last week on the show, eh?
Yeah, well, I have a video out there that kind of shows you what it's like.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, John, we'll have to talk more about that. That's an interesting one, Microsoft Designer. Bill says, I have not been paying much attention to AI other than from TFS. I have been on staycation since December 2019. Scammers ruin many things.
And we already talked about this one.
Okay. Mike says, thinking back to the early 90s and people resisting using the internet for similar reasons as people say about you, AI. That's true, Mike. That's exactly true. That's exactly true. Richard says, I wouldn't pay $110 a month for it. My phone company is fine. I have Metro by T-Mobile and it works great for me. Again, it just depends on your circumstances. Mike says, Google Fi, much more expensive than my current provider, and similar phone from Amazon, also cheaper. Bill says, question, will Google Fi and T-Mobile soon have a Starlink connection?
Actually, T-Mobile will have for those places where there is no search.
That's true. That's true. We talked
Yep.
about that.
That's been something that they've agreed on quite
Yes.
some time ago.
Thanks, Bob. We talked about that last week.
That-
We did. Yeah.
Well, we talked about it quite some time ago.
Yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah. All right. Let me just get our for those of you who want to, we're going to start going over the articles now. If we come up,
Don't forget to refresh your screen.
I will do that. While I'm doing that, that is you can have a look at that. That's our Facebook page, and if you go there, you can see all the articles as we talk about them. And let's get over here, and we'll go to share my screen.
I went through thousands of articles since yesterday on my Feedly, so I have more posts than normal.
Oh, so we're never going to get through to all of them, eh? All
No,
right.
I try to be fair for everybody.
All right. We will, let's come down here. Let me see if I make this a little bit bigger. Okay, I think we're at the top here. Let's come down.
And you did refresh, right?
Yeah, they did. They did. Honest, you guys, they did refresh. I guess would it be Bob is our first one?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Bob. Okay, here we are. Do you want to talk about your article?
It's a video.
Oh, a video. Okay.
Surprise, surprise. The evolution
Surprise,
of digital assistants. And I have actually two of them on the same topic. And they both have to do with Clippy, which was the Microsoft Assistant, Office Assistant. And it actually had AI as part of it. Unfortunately, it was discontinued back in 2003. But it used artificial intelligence. Had we only continued improving it, we might have been a lot further with AI than we are right now.
So for those who don't know, the link is right in here. So if you click on this picture, it'll play the video. So you can, if you want, we're not going to play the video, but if you want to come back, you want to look at it, you can indeed play the video. Huey.
Yeah, ChatGPT is not only very expensive for the companies, but it uses a lot of power. And because of that, it requires cooling. And to cool it, they're using water. So it's using a staggering amount of water. And this article talks about that. And this one is, there's an AI for that. I thought was an interesting article, and you can see it in the headline there. That's the top of the website. It says 3,466 AIs for 964 different tasks, and that's how many are out there. And there's more being added every day. And then this website and will give you a list of all the new ones and all the old ones with links, and so you can look at all 3,466 of them starting today, and then we'll see how many you get to by our next meeting.
So Huey, what you're really referring to is people are now writing programs on top of ChatGPT.
No, just artificial intelligence. They may not be using the same information that ChatGPT uses, which is OpenAI, but they're doing things similar to it. Yeah,
but they're layering it on top of AI so that it looks like it's their program doing it, and then it's really using underneath it. It's using the AI for that.
That's correct. They're writing it for certain industries with just legal things for lawyers, or just for different industries, for advertising, for writing emails, just all kinds of things. Yeah,
antivirus, cybersecurity, lots of that going on.
Absolutely. Speaking of security, this was out this morning by Tech Radar. Just to let everyone know, before you take your router down for recycling, your router actually contains some personal information. and you want to make sure that that thing is disassembled or decommissioned before just taking it down to recycling, because it can have a lot of personal information in there. Huey, I just brought, we've already talked about this. I put this slide in here to remind us that to talk about learning Chromebooks for next week. All right. But it is interesting. I was at Costco yesterday and they had this beautiful, beautiful monitor. It's a 40-inch Dell monitor that's on sale. And again, most people try to use a Chromebook on a small laptop monitor, but it does work very well. The bigger, I got 3 40 inches in front of me here. I mean, the bigger, the better, I think. As you can't see as well as you get older. So this talks about the ultra wide and productivity boost.
When I got my first NUC computer, the screen that came with it from the dealer that I bought it from in Orlando, I had a touch screen. And boy, did I like that. Of course, I had to be fairly close to my screen to be able to touch it. But it was I think it was a 25-inch touch screen, which was great. I loved it, but it died. And now when I go out and I look for any kind of a touch screen for a PC, you're looking at many hundreds of dollars, if not into the thousands. So however he found them, it was a great find, because it was, I think it was only a few $100s at the time. And I'd love to have a touch screen for my Windows.
So this is an article. I hope Mike Ungerman's listening. Well, I know he is. He probably saw this article. Tesla reduced yesterday their prices on their only in the United States, but for the 6th time this year they reduced it. And this is Elon Musk's brilliant marketing strategy. Apparently, there was some new regulations came out this week from the federal government on qualifications for EV car subsidies. Yep. And Elon Musk said, what the heck? I'm just going to reduce the Tesla by the amount that they took away, and nothing will change. So he reduced in the United States again for the 6th time in a row. He's reduced the price on Tesla on the Model 3 and the Model Y. So interesting.
I think one of them he brought down to a point where it now qualifies, because it didn't before.
Correct. Yeah. So I thought, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Only in the United States, though. Darn it all anyway. And guess what? I don't know if you guys saw this.
Your favorite
Costco
store.
Memberships are going up. Got to pay for those hot dogs, right? Everyone's eating those $1.99 hot dogs, and someone's got to pay for all those that are costing $5 probably. Someone's got to pay for all those hot dogs. Anyway, just let everyone know that Costco members.
Sam's here in the U.S. I don't know. It's everywhere. Is celebrating their 10th anniversary, so they're offering a membership for $10, which is $40 off of the.
Oh, really?
The $50 a year fee, and so I went ahead and I got one last week for $10 for the first year.
So this article is interesting because we've just been through this in Canada. So you guys are getting it next. And Netflix announced this, of course, early in the year. And we got hit with it first in Canada. And it was really, really not very popular. And it was interesting. In fact, I think Netflix lost about 20% of their customer base in Canada. Like a lot of people quit on this, and it was not well received. And Netflix ended up adding a lot more services into it to try and get people to come back. And just let you know that this is going to be starting this month in the United States. So the password sharing.
They've also discontinued sending out DVD. Well,
September they're going to end it. I posted an article about that. We'll get to here soon.
But this is watch this, because this is going to affect most people that have Netflix, because what's going to happen is that if you are sharing your account with someone who is not physically living in your house, in other words, they're going to have a different IP address, then it isn't going to work. You can't do that. So that is that's they're gonna make you that won't work. So just to
share
let you know.
YouTube, share YouTube Premium. It works like a charm.
Yeah, but Netflix not so much. So anyway,
Yep.
just to let everybody know, the big handle is coming, and it is a big deal. It's going to be a really big deal because Netflix, their biggest customer base is in the United States, right? So there's a lot of people have Netflix. So let's have a look here. I think Tesla, yeah. So we talked about that. Oh, so did you guys see this article? So this was Microsoft has refused to pay Twitter's API. So so this has got Elon Musk. This just heard this week, and he's just gone into a tizzy with that. So they basically, Microsoft did not want to pay there's a licensing fee for them to link their API into Twitter, and I don't know, it's $40,000 a month or something, which is like pennies to Microsoft. But I don't know what. But anyway, there's a big argument on now because they refuse to pay it. So I don't know what's how that's going to resolve, but more on that later. Huey.
Yeah, this is an ad for an old television.
I had one of those.
What?
Yeah.
I had one of those. It's the one that opens up.
Yep. And it was just an interesting, but it came from a website that talks about the history of television, and there's a link to it. It takes you out to an article that shows you a lot of old TVs going back into the 50s. And it was just an interesting article, I thought, and it brought back a lot of memories.
I had a Mitsubishi projection TV, and every time I needed service on it, I'd have a problem because I thought I wanted car service.
Well, I have a Sony rear view projection screen in my media room sitting next door here, and it hasn't been run for 20 years, and I just don't want to take it out because then I'll have a big hole in the wall, right? So I leave it there, but
Mine was front projection, RGB.
Oh, okay.
You had to open up the cabinet and then it projected up toward the screen.
Now,
and this I get asked this a lot especially from some of my neighbors who don't understand about smart TVs. Can I buy one that isn't a smart TV? And I really didn't think you could, but according to this article, there are some models from some brands that do sell that are not a smart TV, and they run between $75 and $125. They're relatively inexpensive.
So if you don't want a smart TV, just turn off your internet connection on your TV.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have a smart TV, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Most of the people that told me that didn't want a smart TV don't use that part of it anyway.
Right.
I've already sent mine in. I'm waiting for my money to come. Hopefully it gets here before I drop dead.
Yeah, they say at least August, sometime like that.
But, do you want to just explain what it is about?
It says here's how to find out if Facebook owes you money, and you can claim part of the $725 million settlement. Yeah, the lawyers are going to get probably 500 of that, and the rest of us will get $1.25. It doesn't say that. It doesn't tell. The amount we get will depend upon how many people apply for it. But
right. So why are you advertising, Huey?
Yeah.
Why are you advertising? It cuts down the amount we get.
Yeah, I understand that, but I think we owe it to our visitors to get that $1.25 or $1.50 or whatever it's going to be.
Mike Ungerman sent me an email this morning and said that the big Yahoo settlement he actually applied for, that was 10 years ago, and he finally got his amount of the settlement, which was $25. So that was after 10 years of waiting. So I don't think you're gonna. No one's.
I'm not gonna retire on what I.
No, I don't think so. Do you want to comment on this one?
Yeah, this is Chrome gets its second emergency patch this week. So if you updated your Chrome browser earlier this week, you might want to check. It may have another update that you need to do.
You should be setting it to auto update.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we have any comments or any questions?
Well, let's see what we've got here. Let's see. I'll start here. We may have covered some of these things.
President of Google on 60 Minutes said he was
that was the last one I think we covered.
Mike says
no, we covered that.
Yeah,
I think that was the last. Yeah,
Google Fi much more expensive than my current provider, and similar phone from them is also cheaper. I think we mentioned that one.
Let's.
Bill says comment: if ChatGPT is generating heat, the Swedish Stirling engine may provide power. Richard says, I don't like the new plan for Netflix. They charge more for each person in the family, and only one person can watch at a time if you don't pay the extra. Exactly. It's coming. That's exactly right.
But you know what? You were cheating the system and getting away with it, and now they're cracking down on it.
Yeah.
They used to encourage it. That was the problem.
Oh,
yeah. They encouraged it.
Yeah. Richard says, I use Chromecast TV to make mine a smart TV.
Yep.
Exactly.
Works like a charm.
Ivana says 71 degrees in San Antonio today.
Yep. And that's all we've had comments on.
Okay. Let's see
when it was time this morning to start the launch of the SpaceX going up, it was actually shown on my laptop. And then I hit the broadcast and it went over and started up my TV.
Huey, Chrome unboxed YouTube's music.
Yeah, get ready for karaoke, right? With your YouTube Music's new real-time lyrics feature. Instead of having just the lyrics, it's going to do it in a karaoke style where you see in much larger print each line, and you can use it as karaoke if you wanted to.
Okay.
And this one is Microsoft is rolling out the new Bing AI chatbot enabled with SwiftKey. And you know what? I haven't been able to find out what SwiftKey is. Does anybody know?
Yeah, it's a keyboard. The keyboard, instead of using the one that comes built in with your mobile device, your phone, you add this, and it is a keyboard.
It's hardware.
Yeah.
No, it's software.
Oh, it's software. Okay.
It's software. You download it. It's a keyboard. Right. On your phone, you can have many different types of keyboards. There's many different types of keyboards, and SwiftKey is just one of the apps that you have as a keyboard on your phone. But that's a cool thing. Huey, this is yours as well.
Okay. Bring it down so I can read what it says here. The Galaxy 22 series, which is what I have, is the Galaxy S22 Ultra. But I only bought, a year ago, a little over a year ago. It's getting an update, and I did check it this morning, and it was sitting there waiting for me to update, and so I did the update. So it did get an update. But there's also another article about the S22 further on that I'll mention when we get to it. And it's right here. The Galaxy S22 users, which is me, there are some new features that are coming out on the S23 and S24 that will not be available on the 22. So my 1-year-old phone is already out of date.
Well, join the line, right?
And that's the high-end phone that that ran $1,200, $1,000. Of course, I got a deal on it, and that's another thing that you mentioned about looking at your plan about every 6 months. Well, because I bought this phone and got a special deal on it, I'm obligated, because what they do is they charge you for that and then discount it the same amount every month. And and I have to wait till the phone is paid off. Otherwise, I have to make up whatever the total difference is. So it can get quite expensive if you end
You're
your contract early.
You're locked in.
Yep. Well, that's what they want you to do.
And there are no more DVDs, eh?
Yeah, starting in September.
Okay.
But there are still people who are getting their DVDs on a regular basis. But one of the main reasons that they're cutting it out is the fact that fewer and fewer movies are coming out on DVDs.
And here are the most downloaded apps across the world.
Yeah, it's just a list to
Okay.
take a look at. And it's too bad Ray's not here. The Galaxy Z Fold 4 and the Flip 4 are widely getting an update this month as well. But there's also going to be a new Galaxy Z Fold coming out. And there's already some leaks on it, but it's going to be, I think there's a big announcement next month. And I'm sure they're going to talk about the latest versions of it.
Big announcement on Pixel coming up. I think we'll get to the article on they've got their new Fold coming out.
And then this was an interesting article because we've.
Did you write it?
No, I didn't. And I
don't think Bill probably wrote it, eh?
and I don't think ChatGPT wrote it either. But 5 reasons why I love Mac OS more than Windows 11.
So Bill's been doing he's been doing sessions on our Monday show because he got both Huey and Bill got some Macs, and they're studying the OS, and they're doing Bill's doing a Mac tips now on our Monday show, which is great. So
the AI stuff is kind of taken over, and I haven't spent as much time on my Mac that I wanted to. So.
There you go. We've already talked about this. Getting your money back from Facebook. We talked about this,
which is Google Fi.
Yeah. Oh, this is very interesting. Very interesting. So, as you well know, I bought a new Toyota RAV4, right? And so this is GM doubles down on its decision to ditch Android and CarPlay, Android Auto and CarPlay. And it is going to go with its own proprietary system. Now, here's the deal: is that there's 2 sides to look at this. The general feeling about this is horrible. Everyone's really angry about this decision because they're once you have a GM car, you'll have to use their system, and of course, it will. Obviously, when you're looking at the future of cars, the profit is not only made from the selling of the car, but it's made from the ongoing recording of data on where you go, what you do, and all the interaction that you have. And this will all, of course, be recorded, and it will be a marketing thing for General Motors. In other words, it can sell the data. And so you will not be able to use your Android or your CarPlay in General Motors cars. You will have to use their system, and there, of course, could be also a fee for using that, right? So it won't be
for music.
Exactly. So, however, I will tell you that it's interesting because I do use, of course, Android Auto on my new Toyota RAV4, and of course, it links in by Bluetooth sometimes. And sometimes it doesn't. As I've said before, Bluetooth is black magic. You know, the whole linking of the phone into the car can be problematic. It also can be problematic with what phones you have. A lot of people that have certain phones can't work. Also, as the car gets a lot older, sometimes there's incompatibility, and all of a sudden, your phone won't link into the car system. So, from the flip side of that, is there's going to be maybe it's not such a bad idea. Now, it'd be interesting to see what people listening think about that, because this is a big deal. GM has said, no, we're not going to use Android Auto or CarPlay, and that's it. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all plays out. So I don't know if anyone has any feelings out there listening. You guys have any thoughts on that?
Well, the down part outside of that, in my opinion, is that GM probably will only support it for like 3 or 4 years, and then after that, it's gone. I have a Ford car that had a proprietary system in it, and after 3 or 4 years, they no longer support it.
Yep.
Because they bring out a newer model where
Right.
if you have it on your phone, then it's always kept up to date, and you can plug it in and it'll work. So I really have some concerns.
I
Well, one of
guarantee
the-
you there will be aftermarkets that you'll be able to do, so you'll still be able to use it.
Right. One of the problems, Bill, is that's happened, and we'll have to look at this as we go on through the year. But particularly in GM, in their electric new vehicles, they're all controlled by computers, as we all know, and they have to be updated constantly. And so they're using that to link into their system through their own cellular network. In other words, all these cars are connected and stay connected, right? And so the computers are constantly being updated by the information GM is sending out. So the theory is that in order for your car to work, it will have to be a connected car. So I think these services will be available. They will be for the life of the car because they have to stay connected to keep these things moving. The problem is there's a fee for that, and that it's there's a fee for that, and so that's the next thing. After you've bought your car, you'll have to pay this fee if you want to continue using the car, right? And that's
Or the other service.
well,
Ron, Mike's got something to say about that.
Fisker
Oh,
chose to
okay.
use proprietary interface on their interface, but said perhaps in the future they might support Apple and Android. So I don't know if you know about BMW this last year. BMW brought out a similar system, but they also are charging for features in the car. For example, you want heated seats? That's $50 a month, and they turn the feature on or off based on that. You want the air conditioning to work? Well, there's some countries don't use air conditioning, but you want air. It's so much a month. It's a paid for subscription, and this is probably the future of cars. Mike says
Horse and buggy, here we come.
proprietary interface means proprietary map with extensive update. Exactly. Google Maps isn't going to work. You're going to be using their proprietary map system. That's all true. So this is changing, and that's why this is a big deal for GM cars. And it's a big article. So I want you to. We'll probably be talking about that more. Just to let everybody know that we have Samsung finally enables the temperature sensor on the Galaxy Watch 5. So it has now a temperature sensor. If you're in Canada, Google just discounted Pixels by up to $200. So this makes, I think this comes out to about $599 now for a Pixel. What was this? For a $200 for a Pixel 7. You can save $200 a Pixel. What is the Pixel 7 now? Is $599 now Canadian. So that is a screaming good deal. So if you are in Canada listening, $599 for a Pixel 7 is a good deal.
I paid more than that for my Pixel 6.
No, I know. That's a really so if you go to the Google store and buy it through Google and you have Google One membership, you get 10% off your phone, that price as well. So it is a really good deal. And Samsung is bringing out, for those of you who have Samsung phones, Samsung is bringing out their own news service instead of Google News for the service. You'll have Samsung News service on your Samsung phone. And this is, now I've always said this, and this is going to be, I think, our last article we'll talk about. Microsoft brings more ads to Windows 11 start menu. I have always, I've gone down, Huey understands, I've said this before, I've gone down in records saying this, is that I firmly believe in the future there will be, Microsoft will have an ad and an ad-free version of Windows, and you'll pay for the ad-free version. And I think this is coming, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. No one believes me.
If you change your settings and don't show the whole search bar, you don't get the ads. You just get the symbol.
But I'm just saying, mark my words, when you and I are talking, we're having this meeting 4 years from now, I'm going to say, that was true. I said it honestly. I've recorded it. It's on video. I have said that. So
Something
anyway,
has to pay for Chat GPT.
that's
Yeah.
exactly right. All right, let's wind it up because we're at the top of the hour. Huey, any more comments?
Well, talk about artificial intelligence. Here we are.
Here we are. Let's. Are there any more comments that we need to watch?
Mike had just added something here at the end.
I have a lifetime Garmin with mapping just sitting in my gadget drawer. I guess I get to use it again.
I have mine in my car, and I update
Yeah.
the maps on a regular basis. I think I paid $350 for it. 7-8 years ago, and it works like a charm, and I love it, and it's separate, and so I don't have to have anything else but it in the car on.
Yep, I still use my Garmin, and it like yours, lifetime.
Yep.
And now the question is, whose lifetime?
Right. Chris says my 05 Honda Pilot, 06 Honda CRV, and 99 RV all have cassette tape decks in the radio, and all still work fine. Gas in Sam's at Danville, VA, Virginia, yesterday was $3.25 a gallon.
Bring me some.
Any more, Huey?
Nope.
That's
I'm
it.
back. I locked up.
Oh, did
Yeah.
you? Was Chris Rosinski's the last?
That was the
comment?
last one. There's some above it, but I'm not sure which ones, and I don't want to. I apologize to anybody who I've missed.
Okay. Well, it's 10 o'clock or top of the hour, depending on where you are. That's another week gone by. I want to thank everyone for coming, and thank you, the panel, our today. Thank you for being here and helping us. We covered a lot of stuff, a lot of interesting things happening this week, a lot of news articles, but that's the fun of it because next week there will be more great articles to talk about. So anyway, Bill, I want to thank you for coming.
Oh,
We always
thank you for
appreciate you
inviting
being
me.
here.
My pleasure.
Always
Always.
appreciate you being here, and we'll see everybody. Don't forget to come and visit us on our Monday show and click that like button and the thumbs up for us, and that's a big one. Click the like, Mike says. That's great. Thanks a lot, and we will see everybody on our Monday show, or if not, we'll see you back here next week on our Thursday show.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye now.
Bye, everybody.